Ladies first.
All right. Mandy Lynn. Raised as the rebel child of the public enemy and standing up against those who say it's not her style, Mandy Lynn found solace in the 90s era, but not only the hip-hop side. At 11, her crush on Tevin Campbell became her influence, along with numerous artists from that period.
True story.
In 2009, she was introduced to Bone Thugs and Harmony
Induced.
by her late husband and went to 2 concerts, one of which is at the Aztec Theater with Corey, having a blast with the Bone. Mandy Lynn Lara.
I always have a blast with the bone. What can I say? All right. So actually, the reason that Victoria and I had a discussion, I decided that October would be my month to feature, is because it is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so there's some things that, speaking of domestic violence, good segue, right? That wasn't funny.
Cameras up.
No, okay, so there's a lot of things that I share about my life, obviously, because as a poet, we throw our hearts on the stage and hope that somebody catches it. But the things that I don't talk about have a lot to do with things like domestic violence. So when I was growing up, I was raised in a very backwoods area of Louisiana, and so there was domestic violence all around me all the time. And so I told myself that when I grew up, I was gonna get as far away from that as I could. And so, you know, my dad got stationed in San Antonio. I never came back to Louisiana because I wanted to stay as far away from my family as I could. And I married my family, is what I feel like, because I married someone that was just like my family. And so it was just a series of things, one led to another. And I've been trying to write about this for such a long time, and I've written around the topic, but I haven't written directly about it. And this month being National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a little mouthful, but the call to action for this campaign is take a stand. And as a poet, the best way that I can take a stand is by sharing my story in hopes that people come talk to me about it, and we can learn from one another. Or we can just let people know that they're not alone. So the first thing that I did was start to go back and try and chronicleize, I don't know, whatever you do, when you put things in order of how they happened. And so I wrote down about 6 incidents of domestic violence in my life that I haven't thought about in a while. So, you know, I'll just go through them quickly. The first one was when we were dating for 4 months, and he got drunk enough to punch me in the face. He jumped on top of my car, shattered the windshield, rolled around it begging me not to leave. Got taken away in a paddy wagon and was screaming down the sidewalk, hitting his head on the van, going, "Mandy Lynn, I love you. Call me when I get to jail." I couldn't call him when he got to jail. So the second time, I married him. I didn't see the red flags, so I married the man, and, you know, we had a couple of kids. The second incident was when I was about 6 months pregnant, and he got angry again, alcohol-induced, and dragged me down the sidewalk pregnant and up the stairs and popped every button on the only maternity shirt I felt confident wearing. And his way of apologizing was to sew the buttons back on the next day, but never said I'm sorry. And the third incident was the night that I found out that he had another girlfriend behind my back. And that night I took his phone, and he chased me down the hallway and threw me down. And the fourth time was the 4th of July fireworks, when he held me down and punched me in the face while he was telling me how much he loved me. The 5th time was when he could not find his remote, and he woke me up in the middle of the night, kicked me out of bed, knocked over my purse and every drawer in the bedroom, and told me to clean it up because we couldn't find his remote. And the 5th time was when he ran me over and broke my foot. And with all of those things, I still didn't leave him. And because I didn't leave him, he had the opportunity to abuse one of our children. And he is in prison now. So I have a couple of poems. But this was really important for me to share with you guys tonight because I'm trying to get this out of my system, and it just, like, it won't put itself in order, but it won't go away. So thank you guys for listening to that. The first poem that I'm going to share, oh my gosh, I lost it. Hey, it's called A Dark Night, and this is a poem that I still have not finished because I was in a writing workshop and I was told to write this story of trauma in 3 parts, write about what happened, how you reacted to what happened, and how it ended. And I don't feel like it's ended. And the guy, you know, had a 5-year prison sentence and he has 1.5 years left. And so I don't know how this ends. You want to know how I got these scars? My favorite Joker line from the movie A Dark Night. Coincidentally, my least favorite memory of A Dark Night. Scars remnant of tire tracks skidding across bare feet, smoke trails and burnt rubber dissipating as I peeled myself from the midnight concrete, dragged my broken foot to safety. Ambulance screeches and irritated EMS took no pity on me. They knew I lied for him. I lied for him, right there on the asphalt as he drove away. A Dark Night spawned a sequel. I was recast as the lead in the trilogy, almost scripted my own damn eulogy. My oldest daughter sat outside my bedroom door and cried for me. DVDs skipped and life was a horror stuck on repeat. He was my Joker, and I couldn't save my own damn city. My father was a drinker and a fiend. One night he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy grabs the knife to defend herself. The next line in the movie. I wrote bloody revenge into my head that ended in violent victory. But it was a script not meant to see the light of day. I was typecast for scenes of submission and turned cheeks. The performance became me. I was nominated for an Academy Award because I played the victim so well. The judge asked me, "How long has this been going on?" I replied, 3 times in the past year. I didn't ask how many times it happened, I asked how long it's been going on. Naive character outwitted by the bad guy. I wanted to be the vigilante superhero of second chances, so I still didn't leave. Damn it, Gotham needed me. So, unfinished it. Thank you. And so because of the fact that I co-host a poetry and arts group dedicated to healing the effects of family rape through art, and it's called Raise the Whisper. And so I've had some writing that's come along with that and some opportunities. So I wrote a poem for Karen Chatham play last year. She is a playwright in San Antonio who is also a domestic violence advocate. And she called me. I'd never talked to her before, but I knew who she was. She called me and asked me to write a poem from an abuser's perspective. And I said, ooh, I can do that because I've been abused. And she said, that's the problem. I have spoke to 7 other poets who have had domestic violence experience, and none of them can write from the abuser's perspective. And she told me the only thing that I needed to make sure I made clear is that what you speak into your children, you can speak into existence. My mama, by virtue of battered tongue, and my father, by virtue of missing face, created the friction, planted the seed that spoke this wildfire into existence for me. I wasn't swaddled and kissed. I was sprinkled with alcohol and acetone, fueled by hate. Mama pumped diesel into my juvenile veins, told me I would grow to be a structure fire, blaze a trail of broken homes just like my daddy. And there was truth in the words she blistered in my side, cause I feel the backdraft of his absence each time I raise a hand to caress your face. Each time I wish you'd keep your face out of my face. Each time I raise a hand to shut your face. You know you're throwing matches and I am butane. Mama made me combustible. Ain't no way to put my fire out. Sometimes I scorch your skin digging for glass fragments of me. I don't always mean to burn you, but my inferno is consuming, my broken branches piled to the sky, and you are casualty of my rage. No one hears my outcries. Just see me pop, see me snap, see me growl, watch my family tree smoldering. They always say Mama knows best. Mama knew I was mahogany ember. Mama knew I was capable of igniting riot. Mama knew I was flamethrower. Mama knew I was gaslight. Mama knew I would turn every ebony coal I touch into a pyramid of ash long before she planted this seed. I can't help the flush of cobalt flame I've become. I am a product of what my mama spoke into me. There's that. So I'll just do 1.5 more for you guys, because as I said, I also I advocate for people who are victims of family rape, sexual abuse. My mom was molested by several people in the family growing up, so she tried to get me as far away from it as she could. And unfortunately, I married it and brought it back into my home and didn't know. I didn't realize those patterns. So this is called The Storm. Daddy's been doing sexual assault on me. The words projectile vomit from the mouth of an 8-year-old. I stood drenched in the explosion. The air was stolen from my chest. It dripped from my hands, from my heart, from my mouth. Then came rain. Raindrops, rain pour, violent storm. I ran with footsteps of thunder to the bedroom and locked my children 2 by 2 into safety with an emergency telephone and instructions to call for help if they heard me drowning. I turned like white lightning in the crimson flash of anger, and my eyes met his. I told him to get his shit and leave. I'm sorry, is all he could say, like it would save him from drowning. He held out his hand for a moment, hoping to be rescued, but it was futile. He eventually tucked his hand back to his side and was swept away in the direction of his death. With him, when my hopes, my dreams, my baby's innocence, all consumed in this undertow. I ushered myself into the ark that night, held my children tight, and prayed that the waters would eventually lead us to dry ground. We now stand on dry ground. And as the waters recede and the rebuilding begins, I'm using God's light like a promise. And the wind through these hills is affirmation that there is life after a storm. And there's only one more poem, and this is my 30-second poem, and I do this, I've decided it will be part of everything I do from now on, because sometimes it's hard being a Christian, right, in this world right now, because there's so many people making good Christians look bad, but we should be here and just love each other unconditionally. So I want to make sure I give thanks to God. I am so full, I am so full. Like God himself descended from heaven and filled my belly with small blessings, manifest melted manna on my tongue. I sing at the footsteps of communion. I smile because we are one. Children of the earth become soulful. Together we endured the burden of hunger, but we will break bread. Together we will rise up in one accord, share the blessings of liquid love, because we are soulfully so full. In this moment, I sing songs. In this moment, I sing songs. I give glory to God and be thankful. I have enough to share with my friends, though my belly is so full. Well, thank y'all.
You need to use those
All right, let's go.
I know what military thing.
You ready? I'm about to do the bio. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right, here's the bio. At the tender age of 3, Corey was initiated into the Bone Thugs and Harmony Brotherhood during the summer of 1994. Listening to the Creeping On a Come Up EP. The year after, his faith in the Bone took a whole different level at Hopkins Elementary, shocking both his teachers and parents by writing the group's name on the chalkboard. He has been a fan of all 5 members, Busy, Wish, Lazy, Crazy, and Flesh and Bone, for 2 decades, and never ceases listening to them, including solo records. In 2019, he went to the Aztec Theater to watch his favorite artist perform.
With me.
With Mandy Lynn. Yes, or we can project more closer to the microphone. Now we know.
Gotta stay on the mic.
Gotta stay on the mic, alright?
Gotcha.
Stay on the mic. Corey Hunter.
Boom, 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 boom.
This message of real issues of favor from my parents. This is entitled Unsung. From the golden age to now, our minds left uncertain. For the R&B crooners and hip-hop legends to right here, there's always a way to put the day's degenerates in their place. It's like this. Shipping us all to a San Antonio rap and R&B show, and it somehow reminded us that we didn't forget where we come from. It's out of control. Sometimes we have to reevaluate ourselves in the Soul Train evidence. Bringing us back to the 90s with John B., Donnell Jones, the First Lady of Bad Boy Faith Evans, the R&B cypher powerhouse Kelly Price, and ended the performance with her gospel sound. They say the industry is changing, but the living aid with her to notice his son's Gerald's crossover situation. Saying that is still to this day. R&B is the bastard of music after the pop and rap battalion took over. But we all need help. The blood of the late Donny Hathaway, Tammy Terrell, the Supremes Florence Ballard, Eddie Kendricks, David Ruffin, Bobby Blue Bland, and Billy Preston on my mother and father's hands for the legacies they carry. Never disgraced to this day. I continue to survive, but not only the spiritual Marvin Sapp and former Black Street preacher Dave Hollister for a brain. It's the Spinners, Blue Magic, the OJs, the Delphonics, and the hip-hop catalyst of my childhood. Escape, Jagged Edge, Kid and Play, Kwame the Boy Genius, and the last line of lyrical firepower, which is the Assault, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Now, thanks to my parents and my big sister, I am unsung. Same with today's generation of hell and came back to the old school like a motherfucker. This one is inspired by the hurricane, in which Ruben the Hurricane Carter was unjustly sentenced to a penitentiary for the remainder of his natural life. But this one, it involves the trial of hip-hop, in which someone is charged with defending the righteous era, the 80s and the 90s. This one's called The Enemy of the World, The Verdict. Be seated. The 3 defendants will rise immediately. Has the noise of power and respect to rise jury reached the verdict? Yes, we have, Your Honor. We, the jury, find the noise defendants, MC Core, Brewster, and Mandy Lynn, guilty on all lyrical counts. Is there anything you wish to say before sentencing MC Core? Yeah. You know these street maggots did it? We are in a state of emergency. The art of war where our children are led astray from the real messages of the golden age. The borrowed confusion for the temptations. The push had been led by the legendary Curtis Mayfield of Superfly. The lowriders from the 1960s and 70s war ensemble. These are the legendary examples that this generation don't understand, because my mother and father grew up with these warriors, Your Honor. During our times as the young, the 80s and 90s is what brought us to life. The sounds of scratchy turntables of my parents' influences, including the civil rights leaders being sampled as a powerful sign of the rhymes. Not only that we say fuck the police, raise the noise, and fight the power. For 25 years since I was 3, the thuggish, ruggish bone had kept me alive, away from the dumbass Migos which I hate the most. And crazy the other four can teach the world to be a thug in harmony, then my fellow volunteer Mandy Lynn and I can do that, Your Honor. Powerful words, MC Core. Now I must pronounce sentence. Rooster, for your alliance with Staten Island's Wu-Tang Clan, you will be sentenced to bring the ruckus to the 36 Chambers Penitentiary for the remainder of your natural life. As for the MC Core and Mandy Lynn, for your longest influence with Bone Thugs and Harmony, you will be sentenced to the East 1999 Penitentiary for the remainder of your natural life.
Oh my goodness.
Every guy gonna get
That's
that.
a long time. Maybe.
Now this last one I'm about to do, this is where my father gets tired of all this shit. Black people being shot by police unjustly for no apparent reason,
Yeah.
but not only inspired by him. This is for Victoria Garcia Zapata, Mandy Lynn, Amalia Ortiz, and the last two of my influences. Tupac and Bone Thugs and Harmony, entitled Faces of Change. There is so much shit going on, with us not knowing why. This generation has become a failure, with no respect for authority and a defenseless individual. Have we had enough? When will justice be served? Huey P. Newton, a Black Panther with the heart and mind of a warrior, never gave it to fear, even with the Constitution, including the right to bear arms in defending ourselves, including the message against the pointless war in Vietnam and drugs in our community, which hasn't slowed down. Look where we are right now. 2 trigger-happy police officers, or many, murdering people in color, including at train stations, only to get off scot-free after a short prison sentence or worse, not charged with any crime. Fearing for their lives, even if one is not a burglar, doesn't have a gun in his pocket, reaching for a wallet or phone, a bullshit excuse. Firing them for the force is not enough, leaving the victims' families in pain and suffering, never approaching a time to be free. We have seen too much on the streets, which is very nauseating and agitating in the words of Busy Bone. Hustlers, thieves, and prostitutes infecting our community. In the mind of Tupac Shakur, that is not the easy way. It is a sleazy way which is illegal. Women will change the world, along with the way we treat each other in the times of this Trump era known as the stupid ass bitch times. That time is now, as we shall overcome. Emmett Till, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Huey P. Newton, Eazy-E, Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G., Oscar Grant, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Mike Brown, Marquise Jones, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, Phil Castle, Terrence Crutcher, and Botham G.
Yeah, press it down. You press it down.
Oh no, it's on. It's green. Mic check.
Yeah, no, it's off.
Can we?
No.
Y'all don't need a mic, man.
We're right here. Yeah, we're right here.
Okay, that's fine.
Get on the mic, it's on.
It's not on.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not on.
I'm listening.
Okay, that's okay. Do you need to look at my copy or do you have a copy?
No thanks.
Okay.
Mandy Lynn Lara, November 17, 1979. Christopher Martinez, October 24th, 1983, aka Rooster. Corey Hunter, October 8th, 1990.
I was 10 years old, running around white bread country like a sister with an attitude, didn't even know what that meant yet. Thumping Public Enemy with C batteries sitting square on my shoulder, my middle finger in the air, cap turned backwards.
As a kid, Rooster wanted to be a lot of things. A major contributing factor in the formative years came from the book, which is still my favorite, and I remember the story as well, The Outsiders. He wanted to belong in a close-knit patchwork, a leather-clad brotherhood to be a greaser, with slick back hair and a switchblade hanging with Pony Boy and Daryl Curtis. It wasn't until he realized that greaser white kids in 1965 in Tulsa, Oklahoma would probably be fucking racist. Me, born after 5 months of the lynch mob leader's Ice Cube's rise. I was a little one, playing in my crib, laughing and smiling. The classical orchestra of Tchaikovsky and Mozart was my first sound, until the two Golden Age legends known as the Kickstep and appearing on House Party with Robin Harris, Kid and Play was my exposure. 2 soldiers from Death Row Records on my screen as I turned 2 years old. The DRE and the DOGG are their names. A feud with the ruthless leader Eazy-E after the shattering their bond in the NWA days. The No Vaseline track leading to a brawl in 1991 in the New Music Seminar. The beating of Rodney King, 1 year before the Predator.
The backwood words missed my back like stray BBs long before anyone tried to rename my white ass Becky. Elvis was a hero to most,
but does not mean shit to Chuck D. Plain and simple. Fuck him and John Wayne.
The politics and rap lyrics kept my rhythm rolling on down the trellis.
The Rooster put his book down, put his headphones on and found the world's most dangerous group of 1988. NWA. His heart is set to live and die in LA. He took his greased up hair and Jerry curl like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella, and Dr. Dre. He walked the Los Angeles wearing starter jacket through 102-degree Texas heat, all while screaming, "Fuck the police!" He realized Compton G's probably wouldn't want to initiate a Mexican kid who looked like a 1960s greaser white kid. For all we knew, one could be racist. The gin and juice was the track that moves my attitude. The more I listened, the less I was damn fooled. The sound of Ice Cube's day event for the second line of war at the age of 2, which he states, "Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God." As the effect says, a check before the wreckage of self. The G thing of Dre and the Snoop is the final line of fire, with 2 combining their lyrics into a bond of death row that will live on.
Some say it ain't my music, that I don't know a damn thing about tribulation or percussion or how the tragedy and steps made that shit pound harder.
Fuck that shit.
That music was the soundtrack to my life, man. The melody that smeared my war paint in the morning to combat the racism that plotted against him and me.
The rooster could get into shenanigans and try to hide from Mr. Building. "Hey, Jesse, you're on drugs!" She'll pull away and say, Bring the motherfucking ruckus and protect your neck. The war lies between the two swords. The Wu-Tang and Shaolin moving towards the home of Staten Island, New York. Organized by the RZA, the Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Method Man, Inspector Deck, You God, the Chef, Capadonna, Ghostface, and Master Killer. The ruckus and the pain that burned the stage to oblivion. With the real love of the 411. Mary J. Blige becoming my childhood sister and blood of R&B.
The dope beat, sound of the funky drummer, how I fought the small town get down, made closed-minded motherfuckers see that the big ass clock hanging from our rednecks was a lithology, a time bomb reminder.
Damn right. Truth be told, but one day, he realized that Compton G's probably wouldn't want to initiate a Mexican kid, that Saved by the Bell gang probably wants to be a Mexican, Compton, and LBC Death Row Records who banging aficionado, such as the Rooster himself, decided not to give a fuck.
That time was turning out dust and bones in the sweet village of Dixie. But powers are hard to fight, and I left that small town, but the struggle never left me.
The Regulator, or Warren G as he's called, is the innovator of the G-Funk in '94. The legendary Nate Dogg remains on everyone's spirits. But one more influence has my fate changed, my childhood become the best as before.
Now I get feedback like, what? Are you black? Lose the hat, quick. Rap for me, 32 bars. They say it ain't my music, but I grew up and rap grew up with me.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Because explicit truth drenched in lyrical genius is me. But at 11, an R&B heartthrob comes. We go round and round and round, and what we're looking for still isn't found. That's what Tevin Campbell's saying.
The NWA Ruthless Legend, the E, forming a partnership with a group that transformed my life and the industry. 5 for the double block in Strand and Cleveland. Busy, Wish, Lazy, Crazy, and The Flesh, which we saw in the Aztec Theater on August 9th, 2019. The Thuggish Ruggish ones may have lost him in 1995, which is also the year when Method Man and Mary J. Blige formed the T-Cal Upgrade. It led to me engraving the name of Eternal Life, which shocked my parents and still remember it to this day. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
These motherfuckers just don't know that rap music still fuels my fire, gives me the confidence to turn my hat back with my middle finger in the sky.
The only thing the Rooster believes is this. OENWA loves you, Wu-Tang is for the kids, fuck the new school including Migos. Real hip-hop forever.
And burn the powers that be. Let me hear you say,
Fight the power.
let me hear you say, fight the power.
Fight the power. Fight the power.
That beat. Yeah. That was it. What's that hero to hope? That was it. What's that hero to hope?